I'll call this regular meeting of the General Government and Finance Committee to order at 5:31. Here, I think I'd have this memorized. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with section 19.83 and 19.84 Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Roll call shows all members present except for trustee Pieper. With that, we'll move on to item 3, citizen input. If there's someone here to discuss a topic, please come to the podium and keep your comments to approximately 3 minutes. Anyone here? All right, if not, we'll move on to consent agenda, which is the minutes of December 6, 2024.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All right, a motion to approve the minutes. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There is no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. Item A, annual insurance liability contract. Aaron, yes.
Yes, so this is just the annual CIVMIC liability insurance contract. Back in 2023, we approved both 2025 and 2026, but this is just bringing it back before you with the actual cost. So this is a request to approve the contract with CIVMIC not to exceed $427,988. This is something that goes across object codes 571,000. Within all departments.
Yep.
Yep.
It is higher than 23, 24 and 22. And I didn't see the breakdown, but we have higher work comp, right? We have more employees on, we have a new building. Is that pretty much the reason for the increase?
Correct. Some changes. So 2021 was when we were with the prior insurance before we were with CIVMIC. So that's what that shows. And then in 2022, it was a little lower, but then we were also so we were listed as voluntary fire department instead of regular fire department.
Oh.
So that had to get changed within that year. So that was one of the changes that occurred. And then another change that occurred between 2024 and 2025 is we have pollution insurance. So that was about $16,000. So that was some of the increase there.
Pollution insurance.
Mhm.
Oh, pollution.
We had it back in 2021, I believe, but it didn't get realized for the 2022 and 2023. And so we've been in discussion and we got it added back on to the insurance contract.
Okay, questions? Trustee Jan Miller?
So you have attached, Aaron, a bill and it says $255,688. Is that for 1 year?
So it is, however, the workers' comp section, that's a quarterly charge. So you have to multiply that in order to get the total amount. Because that is taken out quarterly.
Oh, okay. Really should be
I know.
it's
It's misconceiving. Yeah. But yeah, so
Thanks for
that's the
explaining.
contract, right? That's the annual, those are the annual breakdowns right there. So.
Right. Trustee Kaminsky?
Just a couple of dumb questions.
Sure.
Does this cover like the police cars when they get smashed up?
Yeah.
Is that under the auto physical damage premium?
No, I think that's actually under the MPIC contract. So that was the one you approved before.
Okay.
That's MPIC. CIVMIC is like workers' liability claims.
Oh,
If
this is
they're
just
injured.
liability. So if we
Right.
do
So,
something to somebody else's
right. Yep.
car?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
liability and work comp.
Okay, but we never, now I'm thinking back to liability. Remember the lawnmower part that hit that poor man's car and we never pay for anything?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Would this be part of that liability?
So it would go to that claim, but
Right.
but if it didn't hit the deductible amount, then it would have to
But
either
we
be.
we weren't going to pay for it anyway. And we sent it to our insurance company, and that's these people?
Right, yes.
Okay,
yes,
so then they
correct.
decide, and we never hear back if they paid for it or not. Maybe you do, but we never do.
Oh, yeah, I would hear back if we paid for it.
So we haven't paid for anything, have we, in the last year, probably?
Not really, but we've had some cases that they've had to bring attorneys on that
Yeah,
we get charged
Okay.
with.
but don't, oh,
go ahead.
but
done.
don't we tell them to go to their insurance first? Or do they
You know, it really depends on the situation.
to us?
Yeah, it really depends on the situation.
Mhm.
Most of this insurance though is for like breakdown of equipment, you know, like if something happened to one of our pieces of equipment, if a fire burned down a building, things like that. So that's where the liability comes into place.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to, we should have done that first, I guess. I'll make a motion to approve the, how do you say it, CVMIC? CIVMIC? Not to exceed, to approve the contract not to exceed $427,000 and $988 for the year.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the CIVMIC contract. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, budget amendment for agricultural road improvement program, ARIP grant.
Part of your packet was a budget amendment. At the last Public Works and Highways Committee meeting, the Public Works and Highway Committee recommended approval of a grant that the village board will receive for some road work. And what we're trying to do here is just account for that increased expense and revenue within the 2025 budget.
Yeah, so when I was reviewing for the meeting this week, I hadn't really thought about this. I'm not sure, maybe we have done this in the past, but it makes sense that we have to make a budget amendment to accept this money from the grant program because it isn't budgeted right now.
Correct. I don't think historically, at least certainly in my time here at the village, we've done this. This is something we'd like to do going forward. What we'll, not to get off track, what we'll likely do is come up with some grant policy where approval of the grant is approval of the amended budget or something along those lines. So those two are tied together because it doesn't make sense to, accept a grant and then not approve a budget amendment for those funds.
Makes sense?
I have a question.
Trustee Jan Miller.
Does that mean that before we didn't have like a process for grants to add it in and no?
Not to my knowledge, not that I've
Okay.
seen here at the village.
We just accepted the money.
Well, I'd rather get it into a line item then.
Absolutely.
So we can follow it. Thank you very much. And then we only for whatever the project was, it was 258,000 to be funded from the road. That's excellent. We should get more grants.
They can't take this away from us, can they, Matt? Because we're a little gun shy. This has happened in the past with some state money.
This came up in Public Works.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all your work on that. That's amazing to get that road done with that, to get that amount of money. To me, it's just absolutely wonderful and amazing. I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment for the ARIP grant project.
I'll second.
All right, motion to approve. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Just for the committee's knowledge, this will also be on the village board agenda tonight, just because the village board will decide whether to accept the grant tonight. And I wanted to have that on the same village board meeting.
We'll ask all the same questions.
Very good.
Okay, perfect.
Usually, yeah.
They do.
Item C is another budget amendment for a cyber grant received.
Yes, so the cyber grant, it doesn't require, it's not like a 50-50 or anything, it's just money from the state. But this grant is less, it's only about $18,000. But yeah, it's for cybersecurity. So we have two different things. We've been talking with Capital Data and we have two different plans that this would go towards.
Awesome.
What are the plans?
Sure. So we're going to increase our Defender package to be our Microsoft Defender package. We're just going to increase it from a P1 to a P2, which is going to tighten security. And then we're also going to put MFA on all of our servers.
Do you know what that stands for?
Multi-factor authentication, so you
Thank you.
need, you need two logins. You can't just do a password. You have to have a second authentication to get.
That's safer,
Yes.
way safer.
Mhm. Yeah,
do it.
great.
I do it, but I didn't know what it was.
I'll make a
Okay,
motion.
I would
I'll
like
let you take a
to-
turn here.
Yeah. Are we? Did you have
Yeah,
another?
go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget amendment for cyber grant received.
I'll second.
We have motion to accept the grant and adjust the, amend the, budget for $18,228, just to specify.
Right.
Any further discussion?
It will go in the budget as the grant, like we did on the previous one. Okay, thank you. That's
All
it.
right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We didn't have a big agenda tonight.
Oh, we gotta talk really slow.
No, I could use
But
that.
we are already on to reports, so we'll go, we can spend some time on reports tonight. So we'll go to item eight,
Oh, joy.
our favorite subject.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to, could we move the director's report on the top so that we,
Need to start with that?
yeah, yeah, move it to A. Is that okay? I'd like to make a motion to move item F up to item A.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion. Any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Matthew, you're up.
Let me just pull that up here real quick. Similar to last month's director update. So what we're currently working on is tax collections are due at the end of the month, which is January 31st. Typically, the county allows a 5-day grace period. So for folks who, forgot the taxes were due at the end of this month, they have typically until February 5th for us to accept them here at Village Hall without any penalties or interest. Anything after February 5th has to go to Washington County, where they will receive those tax payments and mark them closed. We're also currently working on some of the year-end stuff here at the village. Accounts payable invoices are due by the end or by January 30th. So any invoices, dated for 2024 that we receive by January 30th will be dated back to the 2024 budget. If for some reason invoices for 2024 come in after that date, what we'll do is we'll charge them against the 2025 budget so we can get the 2024 books closed. Once we have all those invoices recorded and work on a couple journal entries, we should have a pretty good idea of where the general fund and the utilities ended for 2024. We'll probably report back to GGF on the February GGF committee meeting with some of those numbers. I highlighted a couple important dates for the 2024 close. So the first week of April, last week of March, Baker Tilly will be performing their on-site work to prepare for the PSE annual report and state financial report that are due at the beginning of May. Then we're shooting for a June 30th audit and act for completion. We expect to have that done early June and then to submit that to the GFOA for some of their awards. Last but not least, late in December, our utility billing clerk, Mary, informed me of her intent to retire at the end of the month. So Mary has been here for a couple of years working as our utility billing clerk. She's been the only clerk that's been in Munis, so she's been an instrumental help in getting that up and running and updating some of our utility records. Well, I'm sad to see her go. I'm very excited for her and her retirement. I look forward to that one day myself, so I can understand why someone would be excited for that. We currently have the position posted, and we've received a couple applicants. We'll probably look in the next week or so to start interviewing some of those folks to get them in preparation for the first quarter of 2025 billing.
Great. Questions, Jan?
Is that on the website, the utility billing clerk?
Yes.
Okay, it's on the website now. And Could you, um, you know, Baker Tilly, they're going to be on site in, did you say February? I'm sorry.
Nope,
Oh.
they'll be on site the week of March 31st. So essentially the first week of April.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, we were going to look at contracting for audit people this year.
An RFP.
An RFP.
Yep, I think the intent is to do an RFP for auditing work. We had a contract or an agreement with Baker Tilly it's either through 2024, it might be through 2025. I'll go and double check.
Yeah, could you
But
check?
we could do an RFP beforehand if the village board wanted to.
Okay,
But we have an agreement through 24. I think it's through the 24 audit. But I'll double check that.
so they're coming in to do the 24 audit? Right.
For their site work. So typically they
site,
spend a week
okay.
at Village Hall, you know, pulling invoice and things like that.
Mhm.
Last year we did it fully remote, which, you know, worked just as well. But typically they come on site for a week.
Last year, did you even apply for the GFOA?
No, we would have missed the deadline. The deadline's June 30th and the audit wasn't completed until the end of July.
And you'll be done with the audit before June 30th this year?
I'm fairly confident, yeah. We're much further ahead than we were last year.
That's the goal. So will you let us know next month about the RFP or the dates, of the actual
Certainly.
contract?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Matthew, is there anything else significant that's occurred lately in the budget or anything?
No, the only significant thing would be the summer sewer credit. I purposely left that off my director's update just because it's on the village board discussion tonight.
Okay, right.
Other than that, we've had no issues, you know, collecting taxes or other utility payments. Nothing significant that I can think of besides the utility.
And what's your estimate of the amount of taxes collected year to date for
Total, I would guess it's around
60%?
yeah, 60%, maybe 65%.
That's-
Probably
that-
around 40-ish million we've collected so far for all the taxing jurisdictions.
Okay. And is that typical about this time of year?
I feel like we've collected a little bit more than we have in the past.
That's good. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
That's all mine.
All right, we'll go back to item A then, accounts payable. Any questions on accounts payable? All right, if there's no questions, move on the budget to actual. Matthew, the spreadsheet that you sent today, that's 2025 or is that 24? I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I didn't see a date.
That was 2025.
That's what I thought, just
Because
based on
wasn't
the percentage used. I thought it was.
Correct.
zeros.
Once we have completed some of the final entries for 2024, I'll provide that as well in the GGF packet. I probably should have included it for this one as well. Of course, I have it. I just did the year to date as of 2025.
Yeah, the 2024 budget to actual, right, in February would be beneficial.
Yeah, if you have it before, go ahead and send it.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
All right, item C, payroll, anything there? Item D, employee turnover. I'm sorry, 2024 annual employee turnover.
So I just put the whole year of 2024 in there. I'm not sure if you guys want this to continue seeing the employee turnover.
Sure.
Okay. It's completely up to this committee. But I just thought I would put all of last year in one document for you guys.
Sure. What page did you put that on?
That's all we get, it right, quarterly?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a
Except for
quarter.
this one, I just did the whole year in one,
Right.
That makes
Right.
sense.
like an overview.
I just had one question on that, and that is the water utility foreman. It looks like everything else was filled, but that one was still vacant. Is that right?
I do not believe we have a water utility foreman position right now.
Oh,
That's, I think
it said start of the period was
was
2, end of the period is 1. Was there somebody hired prior?
he was
like
promoted.
before?
There was somebody internal promoted.
Oh, okay. So there's really only one spot.
Yes.
I understand. Okay, yeah, the rest of it looks like you're replacing everybody that's terminated, so that's great. Great to see.
Yeah.
Item E, contracts. List is getting pretty big.
It is. So, what I've been working on this week, and I guess today, since it's only the first day of the week, is closing out some of the contracts in 2024 that are completed. So once those are closed out, those will kind of fall off of this list.
Mhm.
So you should expect this list to get significantly shorter for the February GGF meeting as I kind of drop those old contracts off that are completed.
See if I can.
Any question on contracts?
Any major ones coming up like in the next month here? I thought I saw one for February 19.
Let's go 2025.
Coming up as
To be
Due.
renewed.
Due to renew.
I think.
Annual website and hosting, we did that one
I
already.
think that was my error in Munis. I need to update the dates.
Yeah, I don't see
I was
one.
thinking end of 2024. Forgetting that it's now 2025.
Okay.
Okay, no other questions? All right, if not, that takes us through all our agenda items tonight. And we'll get some time back, so we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:54. Our next meeting should be on the 17th of February.
Sounds right.
All right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, good.
President's.
We like having these on holidays.
Ration Day, Martin. Luther
King Day.